Hello and welcome to New Game Plus. My name is John and I am joined by Talking Dota Bag. How are you today?
Hello, I'm full of Dota items.
Yes, you are. You've got Dota items for us today, don't you?
Yes, I do. Lots of Dota items.
Bring us Dota items, Curia. Wait. You're Tim, aren't you?
I'm back.
All the way back from America, back from the International 5. How was it?
It was amazing. One of the best events I've ever been to. 20,000 Dota fans, all packed into one place, cheering on the teams. Unfortunately, my team did go out fairly early on Na'Vi. They did get knocked out.
Poor Dondo.
Yes.
Didn't make it to the All-Stars, except for the part where he did.
Yes, which was fantastic. And then Secret got knocked out as well, so Poppy didn't come through. But it was a truly amazing event. You had teams like CDC Gaming from China coming through the wild card to end up coming second. And all the games in TR were absolutely fantastic.
It was a mile ahead of TI4. That was somewhat anticlimactic. TI5, well, that was we have the $6 million slam dunk after all.
Very much so. And the very deserving victors in Evil Geniuses coming out with the majority of the $18 million prize pool. They spent their time, they went straight to Disneyland. Obviously.
Fia got himself $1 million desk. It was good times all around. So congratulations to Evil Geniuses. Only they could make a hero like Techies win the International.
Yes, and now it is part of the new meta, so I'm losing to it in every ranked game, and it is making my life a living hell.
Well, you know what
Thank you, Owie.
You know what will distract you from that? Brand new video games.
Yes, we're back in Melbourne. We're doing the TV show again.
Yeah.
So we've actually got a new review this episode. What is it?
Yes, we've got the review of the PlayStation 4 horror title Until Dawn. Choose your own spooks. How good is it? We'll find out later this episode.
We've also got a movie segment coming up later on the next episode, as well as Old Game Plus.
But before all that, we have a sneak peek at the new Street Fighter V.
Alright, Cardi, it's Ranbat, the August Ranbat. We have Street Fighter V. What an absolute coup.
Absolutely special here. Aside from Ultra Street Fighter 4 here, things like Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and Smash Bros. Smash 4 for Wii U. We've got Street Fighter 5 here, thanks to Capcom. So it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome to see the new characters, test out the new mechanics, and see the awesome, fantastic, sexy new visuals.
Plus, we're going to get a chance to talk to some of the pros in the Australian scene, see what they think about the game. So for now, we'll go straight to them.
Get hype.
I really like Street Fighter V so far, even with just how little I've played it, what little I've played, and what I wanted to test out in the game has been so good. Like, I'm not a fan of Street Fighter 4 at all. I've played the older Street Fighter games like Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, Third Strike, and I found those more fun than Street Fighter 4. But now Street Fighter 5, it has a lot of what I like about the older Street Fighter games, where your spacing matters more. Because the big problem was focus attack and invulnerable backdashes, which meant your spacing didn't matter, but now your spacing matters. So if you get into ranges where you can rush your opponent down and make them guess hard and just condition them, you're set. If you like older Street Fighter games, you'll love Street Fighter 5.
So we've got Street Fighter V at Couch Warriors Ranking Battle today. Had a chance to play with a few characters, and I'm really enjoying it. It feels like a breath of fresh air for Street Fighter. I've heard some people say some things like, oh, it's a more honest game and things like that. I think it's a game that rewards decision-making a little more than execution this time around, and that's made for some really interesting play, really fun to watch, where it's not so much a matter of how hard it is to do a move, it's more about what is the right move to do right now. And I feel like that's a really great step in the right direction for this game.
So, I played Street Fighter 4. That didn't last long. It was too slow. Didn't really like it. Art style wasn't really my thing, but Street Fighter 5 came out. Well, the beta's running it at the moment. I've got a really good first impression. Hit lag, like the sounds, the hit lag, the art style, the graphics, really, really appealing to me anyway. Good cast of characters, all the characters doing different things. really good mechanics with the V stuff, V skill, V trigger. Played Nash, Ryu, Ken. I was a Shoto main back in Street Fighter 4, but feeling Nash is really fun. So yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up when it comes out.
Yeah, so I got my hand on the game today, Street Fighter 5, and I'm really liking the graphics they got in the game. Everything looks beautiful, especially like the New Zealand stage. I think that's a New Zealand stage. It's got sheep in the background. But yeah, like we got the game with I think 6 characters in it, so we've been messing around with that all day today. I really like the basically the way they've made it a bit more simple towards new players. So the combos aren't so hard, so people are going to have an easier time getting into it. Yeah, like I feel like the game is going down the right track right now. I just wish that they would maybe increase the speed a little bit, but other than that, I've got no complaints. It seems to be a really fun game right now.
Hello, my name is Kevin, also known as Burnout Fighter. So I had a chance to play the offline version of Street Fighter 5 here in Couch Warriors Ranbats. I was very enthusiastic in the online beta. I tried out the online beta, and rather than pairing up with fellow Australian players, I had more time in the training mode due to the server not really being so friendly to the Australian players, unfortunately. But at least in the training mode that I played at home, I tried some combos, tried some timing, technical stuff. Here, when I played it offline with a real opponent, it was a very big difference. So there's definitely a huge jump in terms of the version difference from the beta and the offline version that we're playing here today. Character impressions so far, everyone seems to be very simplified in terms of combos and reduce down the stress of where you have to be strict on pressing buttons. So I believe it's very newcomer friendly, so if you're new to fighting games, Street Fighter 5 will definitely be a good introduction for you to try at home, and for an entry-level fighting game, it's suited really good for those who want to engage in the fighting game community.
All right, Cardi. So Street Fighter 5, we've had some of the best in Australia had their thoughts about it. What about you? What do you reckon?
So Street Fighter 5 is pretty glowing all around. Everything from the aesthetics, from the visuals, looks fantastic, and even mechanically as well. It offers both something new and something old and fresh at the same time. Not necessarily from Street Fighter 4, but it just feels like a little bit of sprinkling of Third Strike, a little bit of something a little more technical. It's good.
And it does switch up I guess even the core mechanics. It's less about landing those one-frame links into combos, and more about standard, like just getting your damage. It seems at one point forgiving, but also much more about the mind games.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah,
so it's less cushy, but at the same time, you can't focus always on focus attacks. You got to learn a bit more combos and learn what works and what's relevant at that given time. So
hopefully, you guys will get a chance to play some more Street Fighter 5 before it comes out, which will probably be EB Expo or PAX, one of the two, I'm sure. And we'll hopefully have some more for you then. And stay tuned.
So, Jason, here we have a really cool competition to
We
announce
do.
right now.
We have 3 copies of Satellite Rain to give away from
Five Live Studios.
Yes, they're in a Brisbane dev.
Yep, it's available on PC, Mac, Linux. It's available in anything. It's great.
Sweet.
So, how do they enter?
To enter, you need to go to our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram.
Just leave us a comment on our social media channels. We'll see it.
Yeah. And tell us what cybernetic improvement you would like in 25 words or less. Like,
That
if you
works.
could have any, tell us what it is with your chance to win the game, and I guess get them in quick.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from when you see this. So, get hype. Good luck.
Robot fapping up.
So tech gear specifically aimed at console users is becoming increasingly popular. So releasing headphones and peripheries specifically for consoles as opposed to something more universal is showing up all the time. And this week we're actually having a look at the Plantronics Gamecom P80s.
For PS4.
For PS4.
And Windows and Mac, which... Yes,
also, that's a sub note in the description.
Yeah.
Now, these are interesting in that they're designed to be wireless, obviously, but they don't use Bluetooth or anything sort of typical. They actually use a small dongle. Now, you plug this dongle directly into a USB slot, you turn it on and they magically sync themselves somehow.
Man, magically. Technology.
But it is very straightforward. It works really quickly, and it's got a range of it's 12 meters.
12 meters. Like I can walk from one side of the house to the other, and they're still connected. I can still do chat. It's actually amazing. Like,
we didn't get any drops or interference at all, even with phones and all the technology that we have on. So it's really good, and it also works really well for the PC as well. Like we didn't have any stuttering with that.
No stuttering, no, I guess, delay. It feels like everything felt very connected in the sense that there was no lag.
Yeah, that's right. Now, the headphones themselves are unusual by sort of Bluetooth or wireless standards as well, in that they're quite demure. Like there's no big flashy lights. They're not constantly shining on and off. Like they're just flat, matte black, smooth. They fit together really well. They feel very sturdy. They're over ear, but they don't feel too much pressure. Like
cumbersome, like I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. Like you don't get sore ears from using them for a long amount of time. And they've got physical buttons on them, so rather than touchscreen or stuff like that, you can actually feel a bit of a click.
And they work so well for those buttons, like media buttons. You've got your play, stop. You've got your skip song. You've got even volume control on the actual
headphone,
headphone
and
itself.
Go up and down.
Which, as a little bit of an audiophile, it's a little bit annoying because it just adds another audio volume to control.
Yeah, and I also felt that the volume that you do get out of the headphones, even at max on both sources, still isn't that high. So if you're someone that really likes to bleed your eardrums out, they're not great for that.
No.
But for a wireless headset, for a PS4, I think these are really great. They're really straightforward. The mic comes through very clear. It's got some sound cancelling, and it's got
mic muting with just tilting up.
Auto mute's the best thing ever. And for the price range that they're really, really reasonable.
Very comfortable, very reasonable. Long battery, 10 hours. Quick charge, about 4 hours. Everything that just you need.
Yeah, check them out.
Well, back when the Amiga was big, there was a magazine called Australian Commodore and Amiga Review, and they maintain a list of high scores of games that you can send in, much like you saw on King of Kong with Billy Mitchell and all that. And one of the games on there, Speedball, I got really hooked on, and I played it for ages. And there was a guy called Amos Burbage, who was the high score at the time. And I spent 2 years playing 100-week leagues, writing down every score, taking photographs. This wasn't some send in a dodgy videotape sort of thing. I actually played everyone through until one day in about 1993, I finally broke his high score. Sent it all into Commodore and Amiga Review, got listed there as the top score for Speedball on the Amiga for all of Australia. And the best bit is, about 2 months later, Commodore and Amiga Review closed down, so I'm still the reigning champion.
Now, we talked about a Myth film we saw last time, and you've seen another film. Tell us about it.
So, again, Myth, I think people should go. Not enough people go to Myth. I'm just going to say that right now.
A lot of people do go to Myth. I've sort of went a long time ago, first year uni doing film and TV. We had to go saw about 15 films and enjoyed it. And then the next year, I saw it 1 or 2 films and some films that came out of the cinema that were a Myth. And then less and less I've been going. Like I've liked when we got like the Japanese Film Festival, but Myth I just never get around to it.
Look, it's one of those things. Like the last few times, it hasn't been as busy as it has been recently. It was ridiculously busy when I went to see both Yakuza Apocalypse and Battles of Honor and Humanity, which is the one I'm talking about now.
It's always a big event, and there's obviously lots of Japanese films, which is right up your alley.
And this is an old school Japanese film. Like, this is Kinji Fukasawa, which is the guy who did Battle Royale. That was his last movie before he died.
Which was an excellent film.
Yeah. So it's basically like a mobster tale. Like it's a true life mobster tale following them from like the ruins of Hiroshima and how the families grew from this. Underground, all the different little pieces came together to build these grand Yakuza families. And so it just shows you that kind of stuff. So it can...
Is it as interesting as it sounds?
Look, it can be a little bit dry, and some of the cultural references I think people in the audience were suffering with. Like, not that I claim...
Is that because it was like made 45 years ago in a foreign country?
Was. And I think considering you're at the MIF, you've got to understand that perhaps there's sometimes that you're not just going to instantly say, oh, I know Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't work like that. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was, you know, it had that kind of same kind of qualities Once Upon a Time in America. Went for, 2.5 hours or so. And just, it's 1 of 5. So I'll probably go and watch the rest of them. But you could watch this, be pretty comfortable with watching the one, and the ending is like straight up Clint Eastwood level cool. So, yeah.
What, like Gran Torino, Get Off My Porch cool?
Kind of, but not quite as
I actually
dramatic.
hated that film.
Okay, right.
But a film I did actually like was Trainwreck, which is the new Amy Schumer film, directed by Judd Apatow. It's not
Seth
too
Rogen.
good.
I milked you. You're a human woman. I milked you.
So it's written by Amy Schumer, who has her own show. Never really seen it, but she was great in the Comedy Central roast.
Yeah, that's probably where I've seen her the most. I've never watched the show, but yeah.
But so it's kind of 2 films in one. The main is about Amy Schumer's character, who is sort of a drunk,
a trashy
loose,
girl.
Yeah. And she sort of meets Bill Hader, who's kind of like a doctor who's a bit, nerdy and single type thing.
Right.
Mismatched couple, and there's lots of humor that you've seen in the trailer based on that mismatched couple. Then halfway through, they kind of decide, okay, we're done being funny. Now it's a serious, dark drama type piece, which I liked, but it was so mismatched between the start
So they
and the
District
end.
9'd you.
Except the ending wasn't horrible like District 9.
Agreed.
Yep.
It happened long before I was born. Clandestine government testing on the lunar surface caused the moon to split, creating a massive earthquake. They called it the Shattering, and it nearly cracked our world in two. The ground broke. Oceans boiled. And gravity never went back to normal. But we rebuilt. Memories of the old world drifted into the past, and humanity turned its gaze forward. It came back stronger than ever. And for a while, things were good. Then came the gangs. Gravity manipulation and supplement use led to near superhuman abilities. Cartels from around the world unified to form the Breakers. By 2105, their empire expanded onto U.S. soil, flooding the streets with narcotics and war. Law enforcement agencies were unified to keep the peace. Sam and I signed up on the first day. There's no sitting on the sidelines, not anymore. You either uphold the law, or you break it.
Now, it's been a while since we've seen Cliffy Bleszinski do anything, but he's back with Lawbreakers.
Yes, a 5v5 gravity-based sci-fi shooter.
We'll see how
it sounds
that
like a
goes.
Cliffy B game, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
Yeah.
Whether it's looking to be the new esport, I'm not sure how that'll go.
Almost
but
every game is trying to be the new esport nowadays. And we've got efforts from Gearbox, we've got efforts from, Blizzard, obviously.
yeah, and stuff like Ubisoft were doing Shoot Mania and stuff,
Yeah.
designing specifically for competitive gaming. But hopefully they have a look at this and really bring out the gravity-based gameplay and bring something fun to the forefront, because you've got companies like Blizzard bringing Overwatch, a somewhat fresher take on this shooter genre. If Cliffy B can make a really good fun game that it also plays well competitively, then the sky's the limit.
Hey, because gravity. But, and I kind of trust Cliffy B to come up with good gameplay, because after all, Gears of War still handles incredibly well, even to this day, as we found out with the Gears of War Ultimate Edition review last week. Shameless plug there. Having said that, though, the trailer doesn't exactly get me hype. It is just sci-fi trope.
So we'll reserve our judgment until we see some actual game. But I don't know, I've got high hopes for this.
Now, Shady, I hear there's a lot of hype surrounding a game called Until Dawn. Hayden Panettiere's in it. It's meant to be like a spooky horror thriller exclusive to the PS4. And then someone told me it was basically a David Cage game. And suddenly my interest in it wasn't quite as high anymore.
Well, the weird thing is you said David Cage game. That's
Right,
probably
okay,
the
I
main
get
issue
me.
in that sentence.
Yeah.
This is something that you walk into if you're a normal gamer, you might not have fun in this game because it's not a game. It's basically a visual novel.
Yeah, but I mean, that said, you come from a background of playing a lot of visual novels. There's just less anime girls in this.
Yes.
So, like, how did you find it? Like, how did you find it? Considering this is meant to be representative of real life, they spent millions on the mocap. Like, how did you find it? Were you able to relate to the characters? Was it still, I guess, a worthwhile experience in that sense?
Well, coming into it, I'm actually not that big fan of horror, so that was another kind of challenge for me. Then comes in with like Hayden Panettiere, a lot of good actors, and I'm like, okay, I can work with this, and they do really, really well. Sometimes the mocap's just a little bit off, but then you see other ones where it's just amazingly
There's
perfect.
still some uncanny valley, and
there's still like, I guess, maybe not uncanny valley, but just almost like miscapture of facial animations, where it's just like, how the hell does it even do that?
Yeah,
face? But then you get like perfect scenes that just feel really, really nice. And the lighting works really, really well, showing off just like almost this thriller type lighting effects, and it works really well.
Demonstrating them with your hands. Anyway, but I guess that's the important thing then. If we're going from one of these kind of, it's an experience and not a game, is it a worthwhile experience as a result? Like, can you walk out of it and say, this was worth the time I've spent on it?
That's where it will vary for every person, because this is not a game where you can say the gameplay is good.
Yeah, okay.
It's a novel. Are you going to like this book? Everyone's going to have a different result with this.
Yeah.
If you have fun with, like, I guess, a little bit of thriller, a little bit of horror, you will most likely like this because the story is very well told.
Yeah. Okay. So on that point then, like, can you recommend it? Like, I guess that's the hardest question of all. Like, you know, people are spending their hard-earned lucre on this. Like, Metal Gear Solid comes out, you know?
Yeah.
So do I buy this or do I buy Metal Gear Solid?
In case of if you like thrillers, if you like books, this is a game you should probably get because it is basically a person's imagination of a great thriller book.
Right.
So, and you also get choice. That's the other thing. But then the choice is kind of very binary. It's either left or right, yes or no.
You go outside, you stay
zero.
inside. Yeah.
So if you like choice, if you like thriller, if you like horror, this is something that I think I'd really highly recommend. And they've also got the video PlayStation Eye kind of thing where they can take, facial animation photos where you're screaming and stuff.
Great.
And post them on Facebook.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, are you a fan of this sort of slasher horror genre?
I've never been a fan of horror in general. Like, if I'm going to be entertained by something, I don't want to be scared by it. I can be tense, but I don't want to be hiding behind a couch.
I take it you never then read Goosebumps or even the Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure novels.
I did, but I don't know. I skipped pages.
I know, like looking at Until Dawn, like I get flashes of one of my older favorite games, Silent Hill: Shattered Memories. Like in terms of the I don't know, the blue color.
Yeah.
Even though they're kind of fairly different games, but they both are sort of fairly choice influenced as well. But Silent Hill: Shattered Memories, it just came through with the story in the end. Like, I don't play that game for the horror. It's a case of I play my horror game for the articles. You know?
Yeah, it's still good to have these sort of games coming through, something a bit different, and also advancing the facial facial animation tech that can be used in other games. Maybe it's not used to its full extent telling stories in this game, but think of a game in the future that it could really benefit from.
Yeah, it's like we're getting closer and closer to the point where video game characters don't have that sort of dead zombie-eyed look to them.
But
that's
it for this week. We did get to check out Street Fighter V, which is really cool. Couch Warriors, they do their monthly ranked battles, Ranbats. Check them out on their Facebook to find out more details for their monthly events. But certainly a lot of cool things that you can do at those events.
Like fighting games, Smash Brothers, Street Fighter. I'm no good at any of those games, but I bet you are, so...
But that's it for this week. Next week, we have more stuff from you.
Yes, we have Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Beyond Eyes, an indie game 1-2. You like walking, then you'll love these games.
Yes, and we'll also be looking at the live feature of Attack on Titan.
Yes, but until then, check out our website, www.newgameplus.tv.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/newgameplusTV.
Follow us on Twitch and YouTube. We are New Game Plus TV.
And follow Twitter and Instagram at New Game Plus TV.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Donald. We'll see you guys next week.